There we go. Okay, good morning and good evening, good afternoon, guys, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for being here. You can see I'm sitting outside today. Actually, I have a lovely, I have a tall, skinny house, and I have this absolutely lovely fourth floor sort of covered deck. And so it happens to be not scorchingly hot right now. So I decided, why not do it out here? So first off, want to say hello to everyone. And I see, oh, hey, Livia, good morning, sweetheart. Hope you're having a good morning or good evening for you, for sure. You're on the other side of the world. So I am very excited to talk to you guys today. I've gotten some really, really, really nice, first off, I should say this. I've gotten some really nice notes from quite a few of you that this has been a program that has impacted your life in positive ways. And I'm so beyond grateful for that, because that is literally, really all I care about. So what I would love is if this has impacted you in a positive way, I would love to get a note from you to let me know how it has, but also if there's anything else you need, if you would like me to structure something differently, if you would like, whatever. I mean, if there's something here that you would like, please send me, good morning, Rachel. Please send me a note. Let me know. I would love to hear. I would be very, very grateful. And if this is something that's been super positive for you, I'd be super grateful for a testimonial about how this experience has been for you. I'm terrible at asking for testimonials, but my business coach has been kicking me in the booty to do so. So that would be awesome if you were kind enough to do it. No pressure whatsoever. Okay, so today we're going to talk about UFOs. And, a lot of times I just find certain things funny. So when I was creating the program, the flow method, a lot of what I had to do a deep dive in is our own personal authority over our lives. This is very blingy today. Okay. Our own personal authority over our lives and how that impacts the life that we get. So the things that we believe to be true are the things that end up, oftentimes it's like I remember back in high school, it was like in one of my religion classes. So I went to Catholic high schools, and one of my, I think, religion teachers talked about a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it was the first time I'd ever heard that term. And that what it basically means is essentially kind of, if we go look at it from a scientific standpoint, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right? Because it means that kind of you get what you expect to get. And that sometimes, because we keep expecting the same thing over and over again, we get the same thing over and over again. We're literally, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because normally a prophecy is, telling the future. But when you've set your expectations in such a way that you are inherently going to get what you expect, self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But the problem is that for a lot of us, we don't really understand how often the things that we expect aren't really even in alignment with what we truly believe as an individual, with what you truly believe as an individual. Instead, what ends up happening is we are basically sort of deluged with everyone else's opinions all the time. And depending on the number of times we encounter a particular opinion or the authority we give to the person, individual, or entity giving us that opinion, that determines whether or not that opinion becomes something that gets coded into our memory hologram, your memory hologram, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, or something that you reject. So I want you to think about, let's say you get up in the morning and, don't do this. First thing you do is turn on the news, right? And you begin getting hit with whatever all the fear mongering and worst things that could possibly happening are happening, right? And then you get maybe on Facebook, you start scrolling and you see other people's supposedly perfect lives. And that immediately makes you feel like you don't have as perfect of a life, right? And so you get hit with those thoughts and those opinions, and you get hit with, maybe some of your friends like to put up very dramatic or challenging things, right? So now you're getting hit with those opinions. And then maybe you have a 9-to-5 job and you go off to that, and maybe your boss leaves a note on your desk and it's like, you didn't do this well enough. And that's another opinion, right? All day long, you're just getting hit with it. And there's moments where I know I've thought in my life, does everybody have to have an opinion about my life? And unfortunately, yes, the truth is, I think they do, right? Everybody has these things. The problem is when the weight of it becomes too heavy for us, or when it hits us so repeatedly, or when it attaches to emotions within us in a very strong way, it automatically becomes an unconscious truth. So here's the interesting thing. That's why I call these unidentified foreign opinions. Okay, they are UFOs. They are trying to take you up in their ship. They are trying to convince you that their way of thinking is right. For anybody who's ever had a parent say, "Oh my God, you can't be a writer. You'll never make any money," or "No, you can't. You're crazy being an actor," or telling you. I have a lot of clients that have had parents who have been like, "No, we expect you to be a doctor, or an engineer, an attorney, or whatever it is," even though that person's heart of hearts is like in the creative world or an artist or whatever it is. And because those parents have such an authority over that child, they get sort of taken up into their ship, okay? And that's why I say UFOs are real, but they're not what you think they are. Now, we're not going to get into a whole debate, astrophysicist debate on the reality of other UFOs. For today, we're going to talk about these. So, as I say, I call them unidentified foreign opinions. They're unidentified because they're, oftentimes we don't even know exactly where they're coming from or where they came from. They're foreign because they are outside of you, and they're opinions because literally there is nothing in life that anyone can tell you that is an absolute truth. Now, I know that sounds crazy. It's hard for me to get my head around sometimes because there are certainly things I personally feel are absolute truths, right? So they are basically any beliefs or opinions that are not your own, okay? They are, and you have to start to accept that whatever anyone tells you is an opinion, not truth. You get to decide whether it's truth or not, okay? And what you decide, so there's weight to this. So when you decide that something is a truth, then it becomes part of your memory hologram. Then it becomes part of your life detector. Okay, meaning that it's going to, whatever you're accepting as truth is what's going to start actually tuning you into and out of experiences in life. That's why it's really important in this little part of the program to start to analyze where are you getting these UFOs? What are they coming at you with? Which ones have you taken on? Which ships are you aboard, basically? And just start to shift out, get off the ship of any of them that are actually out of alignment with the life that you as an individual desire, okay? Because anytime we are living our life in alignment with someone else's truths or someone else's opinions, you inherently cannot manifest a life that is in alignment with you. You can't. You can't both be living someone else's opinions in life and living your own. It's just not going to happen. Okay. And that's why sometimes you can start getting things in your life. You may say, I want to have this happen or that happen, but you start getting these things in your life that probably would make someone else very happy, maybe someone in your life very happy, but you're miserable. And it's because you've just manifested someone else's truth, not your own. Okay. So there's so many times that people, they're very stealthy. I will say that they try to, take you aboard. They try to kind of give you, everyone's always trying to sort of convince you of this. So I want you to think about who is in your captain's chair? Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you were on let's say Star Trek, right? For anybody who knows what Star Trek is. And they always have the captain, right? And whatever the captain says, the crew has to do, right? And it's sort of the hierarchy of things. And so I want you to think of the captain, as this leader of your mind. It's the captain. It's you saying yes. And then the crew is sort of like your subconscious going, yeah, okay, all right, I guess, this is what we're going to do. This is what we got to pull together. Okay. So I want you to think of your body and your mind like your own personal ship, spaceship, rocket ship, whatever one wants to call it. And it's one that you're very much in control of. So like any captain on like any of the shows, let's call it the Starship Enterprise, you are essentially, what I want you to start thinking about is that you need to start actively being aware of and checking any UFO that is coming towards your ship, right? You know how the captain, what was it, Captain Picard? He's the one I always really loved, the one that said, "Make it so." He was like, okay, we're, Captain, we're seeing something on the radar. It's coming at us. He's like, identify it, right? And they get the radar and they're figuring out, what is this? What is this coming towards us? It's the same thing for you. I want you to start thinking of your conscious mind as something you are completely in control of. And it's like your radar to start checking, is this true? What is coming at me right now? Okay. We are no longer going to blindly go through life just accepting things outside ourselves as true. It's time to take the time to really check each one of these. So just like this spaceship, if it's finding that it's a friendly thing, meaning it's an opinion or thought or truth that you'd like to take on, it can come past the shields. If it's not something you want to take on, we got to start rejecting it. Okay. Put up the shields and say, nope, this is not the truth for my life today. Literally, guys, no matter what else is happening in the world, you can always choose to shift your reality. There's a show I absolutely love, Mythbusters, which I've been watching with my daughter. And there's one of the guys, that's one of the lead guys, is named Adam. And Adam is a character, but he has this shirt that says, "I reject your reality and substitute my own." And I would love for that to be your mantra in the next few days as we're doing this and as we head into actually starting to develop out your personal plan that's going to work for you, right? Because your reality is the reality that your belief in your reality is the reality that's going to come into being, okay? So at that point, once you've decided, yes, you can come into, this UFO can come on into my reality. I can take this on as a truth. This can come back past my shields. Then at that point, your subconscious, just like the crew of the spaceship, it takes it as an order and it starts to bring that into life. Okay. The subconscious mind, here's what's really important, you guys. This is why it's so important to make sure that you really pay attention to what you're programming and accepting in your conscious mind. Because the second you accept something as a truth for you, your subconscious doesn't get to question it. It doesn't have any ability to question it. It just goes in and it takes it as an order. And that's when your subconscious, like the crew of the spaceship, gets to work making it a reality, okay? So this is really important because once your subconscious accepts something, that's when it becomes programmed in as a frequency and it starts to search the frequencies of the collective unconscious and of quantum potential and saying, okay, what matches? What are the experiences that I can now have because I've taken on a truth of this? Now, I want you to think about it this way. So if I have to work with people a lot on this one. So I'll give you this as an example. Let's say since you were a child, being nice was highly, highly valued in your family. And the way that your family defined being nice was never questioning anything, always being there for everyone, dropping anything you needed so that you could fix whatever they had, etc. That's their definition of nice. And you got praise for doing those things and for being nice, right? So inside yourself, one of the things you've taken on as a truth for you is that you are a nice person. Nothing wrong with being a nice person. I'm a nice person. I'm an extremely nice person. Except you mess with my kid. That's a different story, but but I'm mostly nice. So let's say you've taken that on as a truth. I am a nice person. So it's a defining truth for you, right? But the definition you've taken on to being nice means that nice means I'm doing everything for everyone else. I never get to have anything for myself. I need to be there whenever anybody else needs me, no matter what my priorities are, they're not important. Okay. That's the definition that you've let pass the shields again, because you were a kid. As a kid, you don't have a captain. Your conscious mind isn't fully developed. So you're taking in anything from your authorities, from everything happening around you. And frankly, you're surviving. And some of it is survival stuff in a family, okay? Especially a dysfunctional family. So if that's your definition and you have to identify with, I am a nice person as that definition, then let's say you come into this academy and you say, you know what? I deserve to have the life I desire. I really want to grow and create the life I desire. I want to do these things. I want to have this amount of money. I want to create this life for myself. But inside yourself, your identity as a nice person might run into some issues with being able to make that happen, right? Because let's say you're working on all the things here and you need to put some time into that. You do the practices. In a minute, a couple days, we're going to develop out your personalized action plan. That takes some time. But somebody in your family has something going on, you drop it. Somebody in your family needs something, you drop it, right? Then that definition of nice isn't the definition that you need to have in your captain's chair, because it's also leaving out a critical part of being nice, which is also being nice and kind to yourself. So this is what I'm talking about, where we can take on a part of our identity that we've been taking it on as like a label for a really long time. And we don't take the time to think, wait, that label, that part of my identity served me as I grew up because my family was like this. And so I needed to be like that. But now I want that definition of nice to include me. That I'm a nice person. Yes, I'm a kind person, but it doesn't have to mean I drop everything. It doesn't have to mean I don't get to have the life I desire. It doesn't have to mean that I am not worthy of time and attention for myself and care for myself. Okay. So sometimes we have to redefine those things we've taken on. Hopefully that makes sense. And Rachel says, my life is an example. My dad pushed higher education, wanted me to be a lawyer. Rachel, I get this all the time. At first I resisted, then I finally caved and decided to pursue it. I studied political science. So did I. I got to my senior year and switched majors. I realized I wasn't studying what interests me deep inside. I received a BA in art and art history. I did a minor in art history and minored in political science. I went further and became a licensed massage therapist, and now I'm exploring an energy healer. I keep evolving, expanding into what my soul guides me. Yes, yes, yes. My family doesn't get it, and they never will, but it doesn't matter anymore. You're right. It doesn't matter anymore. This is exactly, Rachel, thank you so much for sharing that powerful example, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. So often, because we're kids, everyone else's UFOs become truth because we don't have a filter. We don't have a shield yet. We literally don't. My daughter just turned 7, and I was just saying to my husband the other day, this is the point. 7, at this point, like so far, we've just tried to pour all the good into her. As many good beliefs, as many good thoughts, as much self-esteem as we possibly can. And we'll obviously continue doing that. But right here is that moment, according to like science and psychologists, that at 7, that conscious mind starts to come in. And believe me, we're seeing it, which is great. She always questioned a lot of stuff, and now she's questioning more with us, which is fine. Not saying it can't be a little tiring at the end of the day, but it's a good sign. It's a good thing. She should. I want her in her captain's seat. I want her taking charge of what she believes about herself and her life and what she wants to create, right? So up to 7, think about it that way. Whatever your life was up to 7, you didn't have a shield. Your captain was anybody that was around you. So whatever was being modeled to you, whatever was being told to you, however you were being molded and crafted into what your family needed and wanted you to be, you had no say. So all those old beliefs unless you've done some pretty active work, which we will be continuing to do, and we will ferret these out and we will get rid of them, or retune them, as I say, any of those beliefs would just be coded in there, and they're going to still be coded in there, and they can be causing you a whole mess of trouble right now. Okay. So hopefully all of that makes sense. So the main thing to notice here is this is actually a really, really good system because, okay, hang on. Livia, I'll respond to that in 2 seconds. This is actually a really good system when we're conscious of it, right? If we're conscious of it and we know that whatever is coming to us does not define who we are or our reality. I mean, I see it all the time, you guys, on social media. I have to post on social media for obviously the work that I do. And thankfully, I don't have the energy that I have negativity or working with negative people. I don't pull negative people to me. I don't have people coming at me in a negative way. I don't. There's still a fear inside me that I think is from childhood that somehow I'm going to have somebody who's going to like flame me on social media or be a troll, but I literally don't have it happen. It doesn't happen. And I don't pull people to me that are out of alignment with being positive, wonderful people. So thank you guys for being here, for instance. However, I see it all the time. Like I have friends that are in this space and they post something and they're very much looking for somebody to challenge them. I'm not like, I don't, if somebody does have a question, great, question me, that's fine. This is the whole point. No truth is true for everybody all the time. Okay. So sure, question me, that's fine. But I'm talking like they almost want to be challenged. They almost look for that stuff. And so those opinions, if you let them in, they can really harm you. I've seen people, really amazing people, stop putting things out because they got something back. I have had like 2 instances where I had somebody put something back to me that was really negative, and I'm not saying it doesn't bother you, it does, but you have to kind of come through it and go, you know what? I mean, we're different people, that's fine. So that's the thing to be aware of, that this is kind of coming all the time. People are, okay, Livia said, people are telling me that I'm bad all the time. Severe? Oh, Livia. Okay. Number one, because I actually know you personally. Okay, that inherently can't be true because you're one of the sweetest human beings I've ever met. So it's just that you were brought up in a situation where there were a lot of selfish people in your life that weren't necessarily looking out for you. And then I have a feeling that now, anytime you're sort of standing up for yourself, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, when you start to speak what you need to stand up for yourself, that's when you're going to start getting those comments back. Because so this is probably an important point. When you start, yes, exactly. That's what's happening. So this is Livia, thank you for putting this example out. So this is actually a really important point, you guys. When you start to shift and you start to question these UFOs and the people that are sending the UFOs your way, and you start to make changes, you are very likely to get a backlash from those people, because there's always a reason why somebody is trying to convince you of something, okay? And especially in a family dynamic, in a friend dynamic, like an example is, let's say you were always the like fat, funny one in the group, okay? You decide to start changing your life, okay? And you decide you do want to lose weight. It's maybe you have a health issue that comes up or whatever it is, and now you want to get healthier. You just want to get healthier for yourself, or you want to get more in shape for yourself, whatever that reason is, okay? And let me just point out, nothing wrong with being overweight. However, if you wanted to change, so that was like your identity in the group. I'm the chubby, funny one, right? Okay. And this happens a lot in people's lives, especially, from childhood on. And then you start to change that identity. And within any group, you're playing a role, right? So if you change that role, then suddenly there's a missing piece in that dynamic. It's the same thing inside a family. If everybody in your family is comfortable with you being the funny, chubby one, and you start to change that, I will put money that you will start to have a whole bunch of comments about like, oh, you're changing, you're different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm more myself. I'm different. Sorry that challenges you. I'm more myself. People get really uncomfortable when they have pigeonholed you in a certain way and you begin to grab your own power, claim your captain seat, and shift. I have seen like one lady that I was working with, she was working on losing weight. A lot of the weight issues were around the fact she was highly sensitive and she was just like had padding because she couldn't take the blows anymore. She was like in figurative, energetic blows, even verbal blows. And so we had worked on building that up from within and that she didn't need to have that kind of stuff. And she was starting to lose weight. And lo and behold, in her little coworker group where she was the funny fat one that nobody was threatened by, she starts to look even better. She was already beautiful, even better, more herself, more confident, right? Suddenly her coworkers start bringing in junk food all the time. Oh, here, I made you eclairs. Oh, here's some, we bought donuts today. I'm like, oh my God. So just know that you will have people that try to sabotage your progress. When you start to shift in a way that you're inherently finally in alignment with your truth and someone else's truth is not in alignment with that, or you shift the way that you are interacting in a family dynamic or a group dynamic, you will get pushback. Expect it. And you can even stop yourself in that moment when it starts to feel a little scary and like something like, man, how am I going to push forward with this kind of pushback? You can actually stop, think to yourself, no, I'm in the captain's seat now. I'm in the captain's seat. The other thing is people expect that people will either adjust to the new you, or if those people aren't in alignment with what you really should have in your life, they will start to fall away. I've had people in my life that used to like only contact me because they needed to be uplifted, and I tend to be inherently an uplifting person, but they would be gone if I was going through a tough time in my life, right? And I finally worked on shifting that dynamic, that I wasn't going to be just a vending machine of happy. I don't know if anybody else has ever been, felt like a vending machine of happy, where people just show up, they put some coins in and they expect you to make them feel better. But then suddenly, when you need filled back up, your vending machine is empty. There's nobody there, right? So I decided I'm not going to do this anymore. And I started to shift that. And I will tell you, I had some relationships that fell to the wayside. Suddenly they weren't calling me anymore. Why? Because I was not giving them for free what they wanted and desired. And instead, but the good thing is when those people do fall out, what happens is your subconscious is now reprogrammed. And that crew I was talking about back in your subconscious is now going, oh, wait, that person over there would be a great friend. That person cares. That person is going to give back what Tara deserves instead of just taking. Okay. Okay. Wait, let me look real quick. I'm gonna in just 1 second, I'm gonna roll off only because we've gone 30 minutes and I don't want to hold you guys any longer. But Livia says, yes, for example, if somebody on the street wants to pet my dog and I say no, they ask, why? Does he bite? No, I just want you to pet it. I'm fine with that boundary. I'm a huge dog lover. There is not a dog I go by that I don't want to pet. I'm just going to be honest. And I always ask. And if somebody says no, no problem. It's fine with me. That's your boundary. There's nothing wrong with that. And my mom told me I can say things in a more nice way. I mean, okay. There's two sides. One is, of course, if you're actually saying things in a genuinely mean way, then obviously that's using your power in a way that's out of alignment. It's out of alignment with creating your dreams. It's all of that. But Olivia, I mean, I know you. I've had people say that to me when I was just simply setting down a very neutral, positive boundary in my life. Oh, geez, what's wrong with you today? Oof, boy, you grumpy or what's going on? It's like, no, I'm just sick of having this happen. I'm not doing this anymore, right? So I would take a moment, Livia, and evaluate, are you just setting down a boundary or like, hey, I don't want this? Is it because somebody's pushing you and pushing you and pushing you and finally you're like, no, that's also perfectly okay. We don't always have to say things in a perfectly nice way. And if you're in a relationship where people expect you to be whatever their definition is of nice. And see, this is where I would go to, like, you know, when you're setting a positive new boundary for yourself, you can be seen as not nice because you're setting a boundary. And the person who never had a boundary before and had unlimited access to you and unlimited help and unlimited whatever else it was that they've managed to program as their right in you is going to think you're not being nice. And it is one of those things that, honestly, one of the best phrases you can say to yourself when you encounter that is, I can tolerate their response. I can tolerate this response. I am more invested in my growth than I am in their opinion of me. Okay? I am more invested in my growth than their opinion of me. And as I say that, and I know I'm going a little long here, but this is important. So as I say that, I want to point out that for most of us, we have been taught that investing in our own growth is selfish. But, and the reason I take so much time to teach all this science before we even get to this point is because it's actually selfish if we don't consciously use our power in ways that are uplifting ourselves and thereby creating better frequencies that uplift the world. And so changing yourself to be in alignment with the life of your dreams is inherently one of the most kind things you can do, not only for yourself, but for the world. Okay? So I am more invested in my growth than I am in their opinion of me. Okay, so I want you guys to use that thought, or the thought of, I'm in my captain's chair, I'm taking over, I'm not accepting this UFO. And I hope that using the term UFO can help it be a little bit more of a joyful process of literally thinking about like some alien ship coming at you going, you have to be this, I'm taking you in my ship. And then you're like, nope, you're not. Nope, not today, alien, not today. Okay. So that is my message for you today. Tomorrow we'll dive just a touch more into just a little bit of the science of this, and then we are going right in, because I really want to get to helping you guys create your personalized action plan. So if you haven't taken your flow factor test yet, please do. Just go through, it's in a PDF, and all you have to do is get a little piece of paper out and mark down all of the numbers for your answers, add them up, and bring those to the session. It'll probably be 2 sessions from now, but I'll send out a note and I'll make sure you guys know which session it is to bring your numbers. Because when you can bring your numbers, that's going to help me also to help you to fine tune this. And then we are really going to be in the process of fine tuning this so that you start to see some really massive, awesome shifts in your life. And I can't wait. All right. Thank you guys all for being here today. Sending so much love to you guys as you start this process. Be strong. Know that you have the right to decide what is true for you and what is not. Okay. And that right allows you to start to create your dream life. See you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here live. Sending love to everybody. Bye.